What if I told you that hidden among the serene cliffs and pine-covered shores of the Black Sea lies, allegedly, the most lavish, well-protected private residence on Earth? A place so grand, so secret, that some call it a mini-state. This is, according to whistleblowers and investigators, the infamous $8 billion Eagle Palace. Today, we go inside this alleged fortress of luxury and power. Our story begins at a remote headland near Gelendzhik, Krasnodar Krai, Russia, a place called Cape Edokapas. On this steep Black Sea coast allegedly stands a mansion beyond ordinary comprehension, the residence known publicly as Putin's Palace, though ownership remains disputed. According to documents and an extensive investigation by the Anti-Corruption Foundation, FBK, the main building occupies roughly 17,691 meters squared. That's nearly 190,000 square feet. But that's only part of the story. The entire estate, villas, auxiliary buildings, amenities, and surrounding bufferlands stretches across tens of hectares. In short, this is not just a mansion. It's more akin to a private city or a royal compound, a place designed to awe and to keep away the outside world. What does palace even mean here? According to the leaked plans and the FBK exposé, Eagle Palace was meant to rival and possibly surpass the grandest royal residences. Inside this sprawling complex, a private theater and cinema, a Las Vegas-style casino, despite gambling being largely banned in Russia, a hookah lounge complete with a retractable stripper pole in the original design plans, multiple spas, saunas, hammams, plunge pools, and a grand swimming pool, a full gym, cocktail lounges, a music room, reading rooms, and more, guest bedrooms more than many small palaces, a master bedroom of around 260 meters squared, approximately 2,800 square feet. Outside, the estate reportedly includes a vineyard, lush arboretum and greenhouse, a tea house, guest house, and expansive manicured grounds. In short, every indulgence, every amenity, every luxury you can imagine and more were planned for this palace. But what truly sets this residence apart isn't just opulence. It's the fortress-level security, the kind normally reserved for top-level government installations or military bunkers. The airspace above the estate is reportedly restricted, a no-fly zone known as P116. That means no civilian aircraft or drones are allowed. The surrounding sea is also off-limits. Maritime access is restricted, creating a natural buffer that keeps boat traffic away from the shore. On land, the estate is protected by multiple checkpoints, fences, cameras, and tight access control. Some documentation submitted by contractors reportedly masked security rooms under misleading labels. For example, a room labeled Apartment Number 12 was actually a fully equipped security hub with surveillance monitors. The surrounding buffer zone reportedly extends well beyond the mansion itself, with adjacent lands allegedly controlled by the Federal Security Service, FSB, providing additional layers of protection. In other words, this is not just a mansion. It is, as described by investigators, a separate state inside Russia.
So, who built this place, and who really owns it? According to publicly available records, the project started around 2005. The architect, allegedly behind the design, was Lanfranco Cirillo. The building was formally registered under the names of businessmen, not the state or the Russian presidency. Official ownership has been attributed to a businessman and later to another oligarch. But in 2021, the Anti-Corruption Foundation released a documentary that claimed the opulent complex was secretly built for Vladimir Putin, financed through an intricate network of shell companies and questionable transfers. The disclosures triggered a media firestorm, with drones footage, leaked photos of interior decoration, and public outrage. The massive attention brought the palace from rumor to global infamy. That said, the Kremlin has repeatedly denied that the palace belongs to Putin personally, calling the claims pure nonsense. Thus, Eagle Palace remains a contested symbol, luxurious, secretive, controversial. Beyond the gold, marble, and luxury amenities, this palace represents something deeper, a display of power, wealth, and ultimate privacy. First, its scale and extravagance. For many, it's a symbol of extreme inequality, the distance between everyday life and secret luxury for a few. Second, its secrecy. The use of restricted airspace, private maritime buffer zones, hidden security chambers. These are measures not for a wealthy business magnate, but for someone who expects threats, for someone who sees themselves above ordinary citizens. Third, the optics. To build what critics have called a mini-kingdom, with all imperial references, grand architecture, a golden double-headed eagle at the gate, mirroring old Tsarist palaces, is a statement. It says, this is not a home, this is a throne. Some interpreted that as modern-day imperial ambition. Finally, and perhaps most chillingly, this blend of luxury and fortress-level security speaks to a future where extreme privilege can be shielded from public scrutiny, a place where past, present, and power converge behind closed gates. So there you have it, a mansion, or perhaps better said, a fortress, perched on cliffs above the Black Sea. A place where private theaters, underground ice rinks, spa complexes, casinos, and hidden tunnels meet top-level security, restricted skies, and whispered rumors. Allegedly built to serve one man, or at least one powerful inner circle, funded through opaque means, veiled in secrecy, and shrouded by layers of denial. Whether it is truly the palace of a head of state, or the crown jewel of hidden wealth, the Eagle Palace stands as a monument to secrecy, to power, to opulence, and to the question, who guards the guardians of the state when they themselves build their own kingdoms?